Alrighty, clothes are in the dryer and all the plants are outside, so we are ready to get on with episode 7, I think. And let's see, we have bad luck, which is great. First time it actually matters in a couple days, and it's bad, so that's good. We got a lot going on today, and we're not going to fish at all, not a single time, so it'll be a little bit of a change, which would be really nice. Kind of as a bummer, our luck is bad because we need to go to the mines today, so I was hoping to start off strong, but that's okay too. We already have like kind of a weird half day anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. So yeah, so no fishing. We're gonna harvest our potatoes so we can get farming level 2. And we're gonna prep for our larger kale crops, and I'll show you that in a little bit here. And we also need to buy our kale seeds for those sprinkler layouts, and then dive into the mines. And as we mine, we'll be smelting basically the whole time. And I'll get into that a little bit more later too. But for now, I'll keep watering these 3 crops just because I still need them. But I am going to start sort of laying out what my crops need to look like for the regular sprinkler layout. Also, I don't know if you remember last episode, we were supposed to sell like 5,000 gold worth of stuff and we didn't. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just kind of figuring out how much I need to take out to sell to afford all the kale. And then I'm making the 21 wood paths, which will be like holders for where the sprinklers will go. Because I'm going to lay all that out beforehand and get all that stuff planted before I need to actually start watering it. You'll see here. I think using a path underneath the sprinklers is kind of a holdover from back when the hoe used to tear up sprinklers. It doesn't do it anymore, but if you hoed a spot where a sprinkler was and it wasn't on a path, it would just knock it up, so you'd always have to put a path down. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm just kind of laying those out, and I'll start hoeing the little squares around it. I always get confused with the layout of this. It's kind of a goofy layout because it only can do the little cross shape. So it makes it a little bit more complicated than, a quality sprinkler, which does the whole 8 tiles. So you don't have to do this, but it speeds it up later on. And since our luck is bad, we might as well knock it all out today. If we had starter up luck, I probably wouldn't be doing this. I'd probably just do a couple of them until 9 a.m. and then stick in the mines all day. But yeah, so here we are. And then just clear stuff. Just a basic morning. This is very much like what I was doing all day today and yesterday, which is tilling up ground and just getting stuff ready for next week when everything goes outside. We're finally getting nice weather pretty consistently, so everything's outside getting acclimated to the weather, so yeah. Anyway, we're gonna head to Clint's, pick up our gold axe, and then go to Pierre's and pick up all those seeds. And then we're doing kale this time, just because you don't have to print. I keep wanting to say print. You don't have to plant as much of it as you would potatoes, just because you get more experience per kale plant. So I only have to plant, I think, 84 kale plants every 6 days instead of 115 potatoes. And I want to sort of minimize the amount of sprinklers I have to craft, because basically what we're going to be doing while we progress in the mines is farming up copper ore and iron ore so we can make 21 sprinklers and not have to waste our day watering. Yeah, so I was able to sell everything I needed to Pierre, which was nice. So I didn't have to make any extra stops at Willie's or anything. And then yeah, just go and plant it all. And incidentally, I guess a lot of what we're gonna grow this year in our garden is kale. Like we already have a lot of kale going, and we plan on putting out maybe another 12 kale plants that I need to actually start today. Because they do pretty well here when it's not 100 degrees in July, but I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And yeah, you don't have to do this. Like, I just like to make it look neat and clean. I wish I would have shifted it over to the right a few tiles, but it doesn't actually really matter. It's just for my own personal sake. And you could really get away with even not using sprinklers and just use your energy and time to water every day. It's just not as efficient. Yeah, this process isn't really that interesting. The one thing to keep in mind is you don't have to water all this stuff, even if you don't have the sprinklers. You won't need to start watering until, I think, the 14th. So yeah, it's just not a big deal. You can leave it. You just want to get the seeds in the ground, so it's all done. I guess you could do it early, but there's no real value in it. I thought it would be a really good idea to start a bunch of our plants in real life really early, like back in January. And that's proven to be a pretty massive mistake. So we don't have any room left now because all the little seedlings are like over a foot tall. And now because they're like confined in the little pots, they're starting to get stressed out and flower. So we have all these peppers that are flowering, which means they're probably cross-pollinating to make some kind of weird pepper hybrids, which normally wouldn't be a huge deal. But in this case, some of them are like bell peppers and like other really mild varieties. And some of them are like Carolina Reapers and ghost peppers. So we might end up in a weird situation where the bell pepper you harvest ends up being like super hot, which is pretty unlikely, but it'll be kind of a rude awakening if it does happen. So I guess fingers crossed that it doesn't, but it'll be interesting. It'll make for a cool hybrid, I guess, next time around if we use those seeds. So I don't know, that's why we're trying to get everything outside, because when plants run out of room for their roots to spread is typically when they start going into a flowering phase, at least for like tomatoes and peppers. Yeah, so now that we're done with that, we're gonna grab everything, like all the ore and anything we have, and head up to the mines. And we'll just bring everything with us, so that way if we run out of copper to smelt, we can just smelt gold and whatever we need to instead. And we won't really need to bring it back and forth with us ever. Like, there's no reason to have ore down here. So here's our first like major-ish trip into the mines. I want to get to level 20 obviously, at least, because we're already at 10 or 15. But I don't think we'll get much further just because like it's already 2 o'clock and we got pretty bad luck, so I would say it's not generally worth it to go into the mines. I don't know if you have like the worst luck or second worst luck, or skull caverns also. You want to go in like neutral and above, ideally pyramid and above, but sometimes you get stuck with a lot of neutral luck days. And then yeah, so every 5 floors or so, you want to just pop back up to the first floor and just keep smelting stuff. That's really my only like mines tip, I guess. Just rush down, that's all you really want to do. It's a lot faster now, which is really nice because obviously we've been upgrading our pickaxe. Oh my god. I forgot some of the things that happen in this mines are just so terrible. Like I missed that bug like 7 times. And then, I don't know if you're familiar with the club. I guess it's not really glitch, but club bug where if you spam your little charge attack, you can hit the enemy over and over and over again. Or you like hit him with the charge attack and spam regular attack, and you hit him over and over and over again. And I'm just not that good at that, and I think it has to do with the fact that I use a controller to play. I think it's harder to use a controller and execute that. So you'll see me mess that up pretty much all the time. And on that note, if you play with a keyboard or on PC, like, you generally have a pretty massive advantage over anybody else. A keyboard control is way better than a controller. There's so many more advantages to playing on PC, but I just choose to kind of, I don't know, I like playing with a controller. It's more relaxing to me. You can kind of lean back and just like sit on a couch and play instead of kind of being all hunched up on a keyboard. And you can generally do the same stuff, but some things are harder. Like watering is harder, placing furniture is a nightmare. Like using the right stick is pretty miserable to move your cursor around. So you will see me switch like back and forth to like the museum donations. I'll use the mouse, it's just better. But otherwise controller is totally fine, but you are at a bit of a disadvantage. Like especially console, like it's a lot harder to do this kind of stuff on console. But that's kind of where I started with min-maxing. I started like learning how to min-max on the Switch because I really liked playing Stardew on a Switch Lite because you can like lay down and play it. But I didn't want to just play like super casually necessarily. I wanted to, you know, try and do a little challenge, and I was able to make it work, so I don't know. That's why I'm making this guide the way it is, where I'm not going to use any fancy PC-only tricks. For now, at least. Yeah, this isn't going that poorly, but it's just not going that great. Like, ideally, you get to level 20 at least, so you can just farm level 20 over and over again. That's probably your most efficient use of time for farming copper. Or like a bad luck day, because you know, like you can just reset the floor over and over again. But I just had nothing really else to do today, so it made more sense to just go for it. Plus, I don't know, I just got sick of fishing. What the bad news is, I think I'm pretty short on money. So I'm going to have to potentially fish the next time it rains. Or if it rains. Because if I don't have enough money to unlock the vault soon, then I get pushed back even further for Skull Caverns, and that's where all your money really comes into play. I think I did the math, and I need, let's see. So I need just about 300,000 gold by Summers 2. I think the second of summer, that's when I need that much money, so it's kind of a lot, but if I don't get in the Skull Caverns pretty soon, I just won't be able to do it, so that's kind of like a general idea of what I'm going for right now. And once I get that 300,000, that'll basically turn into like 3 million, or if not more, from Starfruit. So I don't know, we'll see if that'll happen. Maybe not, maybe it's 1.5 million. I don't know, my math is irrelevant, I guess, but either way, I need a lot of money really soon. So things kind of have to go a certain way pretty soon here. And like I've said before, like a day or two won't really kill you when it comes to delays, but I don't know, I think you're probably good with like 4 days delay most, and then you start really losing out. So we'll try to avoid that, and if it means a little extra fishing, then I'll do that and just edit it out. I hate this, I don't know, this floor is the worst. Like for this floor 19 design, which happens in a couple other floors as well as in the Skull Caverns, is the worst design. Even like the creator of the game, Concerned Ape, said like this is his biggest regret, is like making that that particular floor layout, so nobody seems to like it. The only benefit of it is there's a lot of crates typically in the center of it. So if it's like the last floor you're on in the Skull Caverns for the night, it might be worth it to work your way all the way around for a chance at a lucky ring or warp totems and things like that. And I think today, I'm gonna exhaust myself. As long as I make sure to grab all my most valuable items and have them in my inventory, it shouldn't matter if I pass out. Pretty much every day you go to the mines, you'll want to end it by like making sure your longest smelt time ore is in the ovens, or furnaces, not ovens. And then making sure your inventory is filled with stuff you want to bring back and not ore and not your weapon. That's usually the best way to do it. That way you don't have to take additional trips later on to try to, get all your stuff back from the mines. It'll be a lot easier once we have minecarts, but for now we have to walk, so we lose some time. And I think right now, the only thing I really need from the mines is a gold bar and maybe a frozen tear. And that way I can complete the blacksmith bundle. Oh, and probably both of the essences, the void essence and the solar essence. And those are probably the two I'll go for. You can turn in bat wings or slime, but it's like bat wings are really valuable early on, and I don't kill enough stuff to get a ton of slime, so void essence and solar essence will be our main bet for that. And we should get that, no problem. As long as we hit floor 80 in the next couple days. Maybe 3 days. No, probably 2 days. Hopefully 2 days. Oh, and hardwood. Hardwood is super nice to find. Just because we need 10 of it to finish one of the bundles, the construction bundle. And then we'll need a ton of it later on to unlock the boat to Ginger Island and to build a stable to kind of speed ourselves up a little bit. And I did make it to 25, which actually I'm pretty happy with, especially considering the luck. And also, you'll notice I'm like making more furnaces as I go. You want to typically end up with like 5 furnaces by the time you're done with the mines. That way, while you're in the Skull Caverns, you can mine at least 5 iridium bars while you're away, just to bring in money a little bit faster. But I don't know, it just depends on how much copper you get. Your main priority right now is sprinklers. And yeah, so I guess I'm on pace. Like, it's hard to tell right now. I'm pretty well on pace, actually, I would say. Aside from the being a little bit short on money, we're generally on a good pace to finish up. Oh, my controller disconnected for some reason. We're generally on a good pace to make it where we need to make it in a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, I don't know. Not a bad first day in the mines considering our luck. I was kind of hoping for an early ancient seed, but that's one of those things you don't really have any control over, really. And it's not really hugely beneficial to the early game. It's kind of nice to get it early so you can start your like ancient fruit machine essentially and keep, producing more seeds, but I don't know, it's kind of nice to have it all the time. But no luck. So yeah, generally what I do is I bring home like things I don't think I'll get any more of, like retaining soil, some gems like crabs, things like that. and things I don't need in the mines. So I'll always leave bombs, I'll always leave food, I'll always leave my weapons, and always leave ore, and then just take everything else that I can fit in my inventory. Including bars. I know you can leave the bars because you'll get more of them, but for some reason I usually take them back. And I also have, I guess I have an extra gold bar, so I don't even need that. So really I just need a frozen tier and the void essences. But yeah, anyway, that was it for our first non-fishing day. So we got our level 2 farming and mining and level 1 combat, so that's all fine. Combat will never matter. Mining will eventually matter a lot. And other than that, we're sitting good, so I'll see you next time.